cut well at all perpendicular to the grain of the wood. Ideally 45 degrees, and sometimes when you're felling even 60 degrees. But somewhere in there to there is where it's going to cut. So what I don't want to do is come straight down and then twist. I want to put it where I'm going to finish, come back on that same plane, and then come in, right? Mm-hmm. So the trick here is going to be hitting exactly where I want. So there's a relationship between the width or the length of the blade and how wide the wood is. This is probably a 2-hitter. If I hit here and hit here, I've cut the full diameter of the log. But the goal is, you know, I don't want to do this and be talking and thinking about something else. You never, ever, ever want to multitask. You're monotasking. If you can't get whatever you're thinking about out of your head, take a walk. Don't use this. So I hit there, then I've got a definite line that I want to hit, and I'm staring at the target. And I'll come over here, give myself a specific target, and I like to just switch sides like that. Some guys switch hands, and then I'll come over here. I've got most of the chip can pop out, and we'll grade ourselves. We'll grade me when I'm done. Big chips are good. Means you're hitting where you're aiming. Little teeny chips. If you have chips like this laying around, that's great. If you have 1,000 of these, not so great. So this is exercise 1 because I'm very safe at it and I'm getting good experience putting it right where I want it. So I'm not going to go all the way through because that's a good way to drive your axe into the dirt and ruin it. But you guys can come check this out. And here's how you grade yourself. How smooth is that cut? So what I usually do is bring a block plane with me, and then I smooth it out really nice before I carry this back to camp. You throw it in the woodpile and act all cool.
So to finish it, would you flip it then?
Yeah, or, you know, it depends. If I can't flip it,
right,
I'll stand it up. And I can come over here and hit it in there. And so that's number 1, and it's good to do that 5 or 6 times. If somebody's never swung an axe before, do that till you get a blister, and you've earned the right to move on to the next. This space here is called my frontal zone. I never want to chop inside my frontal zone, right? So if I was doing this, you know, I don't like to chop there. I'd rather be over here. So we're going to try to build in a lot of safety things into it, because most people are going to forget 2 or 3. So if I have 5, then there's still 2 that are going to save their toes or whatever. So if I'm limbing, I want to limb from root to shoot. I want to be outside my frontal zone so the inertia of the axe head has already passed me. Because if it's out here, and there's my contact point, and I'm on the other side of the log, I'm not getting cut. If I'm over here doing it, oh, look at that follow through. It's coming right at me. So with any edge tool, always think, if this thing goes in the direction that my muscles are pushing it, is it going to bite me? And, you know, try to avoid that if you can. We have the thing called the ubiquitous good-bad scale, and if you chop yourself with the axe, that's bad. Not a whole lot of limbing here. So, well, we'll just finish this guy up. But it's all about aim, all about being very methodical. And you can see here, I'm offsetting this cut just a little bit, because if I hit through, then maybe my axe will come flying through. But if I'm offsetting it just a bit, roll it just a bit more. So one of the things that we do a lot in Maine, and especially in the wintertime, when everybody wants to split, this is what you think of. If you're on a trip with just an axe, you'll never have that. So instead of a vertical chopping block, horizontal. Another good way to be on your knees. So if I hit from the side, this should be directly over the anvil. Imagine if I hit it here, it's going to come up and hit me. And these are what are always going to stop your wood from splitting, are the knots. So if I hit right on that knot, maybe I'll get it to split. But once again, on my knees, nice and safe. So even in the wintertime, you know, when I always say accidents never happen. It's sunny, 70 degrees, 2 p.m. They happen at dusk, it's sleeting, you're hypothermic, and you're rushing. So never rush. Don't multitask, don't think about anything but this, and don't be in a rush. So if you're standing up to do this, nice and wide, there's my follow through. But if you see from the side, if I'm splitting, I never want to split like this, right? I want to sink the last couple of feet. This thing's traveling just about straight. And here. The other splitting method for finer work, contact splitting. And you keep this in contact with this. Good if you don't have good aim, you can still hit it right where you want. Useful for kindling, crafting, carving. Or if you have a real little piece. There you go. Smart instructor finds a nice straight grain piece. Look at that. So I use this a lot more than I use this. This is fine carving, holding up liquor stores. This is any type of big woodworking. If you're running a stove, if you're cooking over a fire, you're going to use this every day. So if you guys want, we could do some felling later.
Deep snow. Splitting, bucking, what's your methods for?
I find an old dead log and use that as my chopping block. Just that horizontal.
You ever do the, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so if you go up north to the Cree, if you've ever seen the movie Cree Hunters of Mistassini, moose hide moccasins or moose hide mucklucks, holding it like this, and at the end of the hit, twist it, and it pops. But if I do that, somebody here will say, I saw that guy do that, and they'll get an angry letter from their doctor, and sew their toes back on. And
I've folks do it actually on top of the snow. Stick it in the snow and do it that way. You ever mess with that method? I'm not good at it at all.
If the snow is deep and you do that, you hit it, and all of a sudden your wood's gone, and then you need a shovel to go find it. So, I mean, it works. Like, there's 7 million ways to use any tool, and by no means am I saying this is the right way. It's just ways that the techniques that I use and that we teach are based on how are people, number one, going to be safe, and number two, learn the skills so that they can do something useful. But number one is always safety. You know, our best tools in the hands of somebody who doesn't know what they're doing are the most dangerous. You know, give somebody who doesn't know what they're doing a chainsaw and call the surgeon. But fire, axe, you know, they make life easy in the outdoors. But once you know, if they work for you, they're great to have. But if you don't know what you're doing, you can get bit very easily with them.